Yeah, my wife told me to wear it. That's why I have it on.
Well, that's great, and thank you for your service. I think you should wear it. I think Vietnam vets need to be recognized and honored for their contributions.
You're watching the Spotlight Network, starring Hollywood's
And if
newsman,
you were just
Logan
joining
Crawford.
investigators, they now believe a single member.
He works with TV and film legends. And now, Logan's shining the spotlight on the world's top emerging authors and creators.
International were abducted.
This is Spotlight with Logan Crawford, streaming on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire TV.
I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, we're talking to a terrific author. His name is Ron Harvey, and he has penned a wildly inventive book. It is called Short Stories to Amuse, Baffle, and Educate. This imaginative collection of short stories, poems, and cartoons takes readers on a playful journey where logic bends, humor hides in unexpected places, and imagination runs delightfully amok. If you enjoy clever wordplay, absurd twists, and humor that rewards a second or even a third read, this book delivers. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight. We thank the team for helping us put him in the spotlight today, and we ask viewers like you to support authors like him by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing his amazing book. The links are below this interview. Ron, thanks so much for joining us here today.
My pleasure.
Great to have you on the show. Tell us a little bit about the inspiration of this book. Are these writings and poems and cartoons that you have collected over the course of years?
Yes, it took me a while. Most of it, the inspiration came from where I worked. Um, I worked for a very brilliant guy, Cortland Sims, and he had a PhD in organic chemistry, but he was a brilliant businessman as well. And he asked me one day, Ron, why wasn't a bird called a fly? Or why is a fly called a fly? Because birds fly. And it got me to thinking. And he went to lunch, and I sat down and I whipped out a story about why is a bird called a bird or something to that effect. And I put it on his desk when he came back in. I heard him in there chuckling, and he said, that's pretty good. And he passed it out to people. And pretty soon people were coming to me, asking me to write stories about this and that or whatever. Can you write a story about a peanut butter and jelly fish sandwich? And but anyhow, that's how it all got started, Logan.
So, well, got a great stamp of approval from a very smart guy with a PhD in organic chemistry. Even the smartest people I know struggle with organic chemistry, so I can't imagine getting a PhD in it. So that's pretty cool. How would you describe your sense of humor?
Warped. I oh, I it's kind of I guess warped is the best description because I got it from I guess my mom, and I had an uncle who had a weird sense of humor as well.
Yep. Yeah. Well, that stuff does run in the family and is in the genes. I think I got my weird sense of humor from Alfred E. Newman from Mad Magazine. Did you read Mad Magazine much growing up as a kid?
I did, and
Yeah.
I was stationed in South Dakota with a guy that looked he would have been his twin brother.
That's pretty funny. Alfred E. Newman's doppelganger. And you were stationed in the Army with him?
Air Force.
Air Force. Well, I wouldn't want that guy watching my back, I don't think. Alfred E. Newman doesn't look like he could do much damage, but you got out okay. Tell us a little bit. I noticed the Vietnam vet cap when we first tuned you in. Tell us a little bit about your service to this country.
Yeah, my wife told me to wear it. That's why I have it on.
Well, that's great, and thank you for your service. I think you should wear it. I think Vietnam vets need to be recognized and honored for their contributions. Tell us about your work in the Air Force.
Um, from 1966 to 1970, of course, 6 weeks in basic training in Lackland. Did get to see the Alamo.
Wow.
Spent a year in Biloxi, Mississippi in electronics school. sent to Rapid City, South Dakota, Ellsworth Air Force Base, where they had the B-52 bombers, and spent about 2 years there with a little TDY at Mather Air Force Base in Sacramento, California, and spent my last year in Vietnam.
What was that last year in Vietnam?
I'd have rather been home.
Yeah, exactly. You're probably about 20 years old at the time, 22 years old, right? And you're over in
Yeah,
Vietnam,
somewhere in that range.
somewhere in that range. I know a lot of people were pulled out of their comfortable homes to go fight a war, and one that they didn't even necessarily agree with, but they did what they had to do for their country, right? Yeah, amazing. Well, thank you again for your service. Do you have a favorite short story in this book? Tell us about that.
I actually have a couple. I think the Al Urgy story about a guy named Al Urgy.
Yeah.
Al is
Tell the folks at home a little bit about the story of allergy.
well, you're going to make me read it now.
If you want to read it, you can read it, or you can tell us about it.
Well, let me put it like this, Logan. There's nothing to sneeze at.
Exactly, exactly,
It has
exactly.
bad puns in it.
Yep, yep, yep. Did you ever read a guy named Ogden Nash? He used to have those really
Oh,
short, funny poems that we used to read, I guess, in grade school or something, and they were great and kept us amused and kept us laughing. And tell us a little bit. There's cartoons in the book, also, right?
well, I'm not an artist.
Hmm.
I had a good friend of mine at work was quite an adept artist, and he did most of my cartoons. And I had another guy who has since passed away, um, Marty Gavin. Gillis McAllister was the guy that did a lot of my cartoons, and Marty did some of the newer ones that I came up with after Gillis had drawn some of the original cartoons. That's how I spent my time in a lot of company meetings, doodling.
On cartoons. Well, that's how I survived school. I think from grade kindergarten through college, I was doodling on something, or talking in class. And the teacher would tell me, Mr. Crawford, you're never going to make a living speaking. So shut up and listen. So I guess I kind of proved her wrong. I don't know. Teachers are tough. I didn't get along with them because I'm a little bit like you. I've got a good warped sense of humor forged by Mad Magazine and National Lampoon and all that great stuff. And are you working on any new projects right now?
Well, I started on a second book. Um, Whether I finish it or not is another question. I just my time is so occupied now. Uh, so I hope to get back to it one day and finish it.
Okay, well, we hope you do too, because this first book is terrific. Now, I see you've got a lot of books behind you, so you like to read, obviously, but also what stands out is you have some beautiful children behind you. And I'm assuming those are your grandkids. You want to tell us about them?
No, well, my wife and I have been married 52 years.
Mhm.
Uh, we never had children because both of us worked, and I've
Mhm.
got a cat rattling my stand here if you see it shake.
Yeah.
Um, but those are nieces and nephews,
Ah,
all of them.
wonderful, wonderful. Well, they're beautiful kids, and you do have a lot of books there. So, what do you like to read?
Well, most of those are probably my college textbooks, but I
Okay.
read a lot of. I like some of the old western, like Lonesome Dove, and I used to read some of the Ogden Nash and
Mhm.
Patrick F. McManus. He was. I don't know if you're familiar with Patrick F. McManus or not.
Not
He
right
wrote
off the bat.
he wrote short stories like Never Sniff a Gift Fish,
Okay.
A Fine and Pleasant Misery, and everything about camping from A to Z. So,
Okay, awesome. Awesome. Well, it sounds like that's right up your alley. Sounds a little similar to your work. Give the folks at home an overview. What will they find once they crack the covers of your book?
um, well, they're going to find some made up words, some I'll say coined words,
Mm-hmm.
And I came up with a new one the other day. Some people were talking about, some of my friends, old college friends, we still keep in touch. We all majored in biology, so they call it the Biological Society, and we'll send pictures of insects or whatever and ask the others to identify. And one of them said collaboration.
Mm.
My definition of collaboration was probably, I think I came up with two. Collaboration is two people living in the same laboratory. Cohabitation, collaboration, and I forget what the other one was or not. But that's what they can expect is some bad puns.
Exactly. I guess people who are in cohabitation are two people with a set of similar habits.
Yeah,
That would fit along the lines of that, right? Absolutely. Absolutely. And some of the passages you really do have to read twice to get the meaning. And I guess that's part of it too. You wanted a little bit of a puzzle, a little bit of a brain teaser, right?
right, right.
Yeah.
That's why it's to educate because I think I relied on some of my experiences. I worked in the chemical division at a pulp and paper company. And
Hmm.
our department isolated the lignin from the pulp.
Mm,
Lignin is the glue that holds the tree together. And
gotcha.
lignin went into the dyestuffs industry, the rendering industry, asphalt, cement.
Mm,
Let's see, every car battery, the negative plate in every car battery has lignin in it. It goes into something called the expander. They make an expander mix. But anyhow, it
yeah.
gave me a really broad um, it gave me a broad education because I was fortunate to have been able to travel worldwide. So you just learn and pick up different things. So
Yeah. Even your time in the service, you traveled quite a bit. You were in the Dakotas, you were in California, and then eventually overseas. Yeah. Wonderful. Wonderful. Well, we hope you get around to picking up the pen and doing some more writing because this book is wonderful. It is a book of short stories, and it is called Short Stories to Amuse, Baffle, and Educate. And there it is right
yeah,
there. It is written by Ron Harvey. It is a playful celebration of imagination without guardrails, and it is highly recommended. Ron, thanks so much for joining me here today.
totally my pleasure.
Pleasure's all mine, sir, and I appreciate your time, your insight, your wit, and your wisdom. To the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time.